Hello, my friends. Hello, it's Matthew Street. Welcome to my channel. As always, I truly appreciate you being here. And folks, Paul McCartney. How many times can you count, or how many times in your life, during your life, could you honestly say Paul has had a positive impact or made a positive impression on you? I know I could think of a ton, a million times that it's happened either with his music, with his live shows, with things he has done. It's just countless. But I thought today I would come up with a list of 10 times or 10 things that I can get off the top of my head where Paul has made a big, major impression on me. So they're not going to be ranked from worst to best or least best to best or whatever. But I want to go from time period. So it'll be 10 to 1, but it will be from earliest impression he made on me to most recent. Number 10. Now, Paul, honorable mention, as a Beatle, when I was a kid in the 60s, made a big impression on me and had an impact on my life, obviously. So as a Beatles fan, that's when I first became aware of Paul, and he made an impact on me. However, solo years. Spring of 1970, I'm at my cousin's house in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm 9 years old. I had never heard any solo Beatles music. And I was a mega Beatles fan by 9 years old, believe me. He took out the McCartney album. He and my two other older cousins had like I've told you in the past, had a great stereo console. They had all the Beatles records. They were on top of the latest music. He played the McCartney album for me and said to me, "You got to hear this, Matt. It is so cool." I said, "Okay." So he puts on the McCartney album. And folks, I don't know what it was, but it made a big impression on me. I remember him saying to me, doesn't Paul look so cool on the cover? And sure enough, gazing at, not only the front cover with the cherries in the bowl, but the back cover with Paul holding baby Mary in his jacket. And then we're gazing at the inner gatefold. Need I say more about the gatefold? What an impression that had on me. And my cousin kept pointing out different pictures in the gatefold going, "Doesn't Paul look cool here? Doesn't he look cool there?" And me nodding my head going, yeah, Paul looks cool. And the music was cool, folks. It made an impression on me. Number 10. Number 9. Early 1974. It's a cold, gloomy, snowy or wet day in New England. And we used to be in a little carpool. My mom with a friend of hers and their kids, and me and my two little brothers. We used to go to these YMCA programs, local YMCA in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, not far from us. You may have heard of Pawtucket. And we do these kids programs, sports and other activities. And then after the YMCA, they would drive us to either something to get something to eat or a treat or something. So my mom has the carpool one night. And we leave the YMCA, and she announces we're going to go to Newport Creamery, which was a chain of ice cream and food places up here in the Northeast. We're going to get ice cream. Yay! All the kids are kind of, yay, ice cream. You scream, we all scream for ice cream. As we're driving to Newport Creamery to get the ice cream, Jet comes on the radio. We're talking a 12-year-old Matthew Street. Hadn't heard anything from Band on the Run yet, which came out late in 73. Well, now it's early 74, winter of 74, and I hear Jet. And one of the other kids in the car, who's about my age or a little older, goes, "Isn't that song great? You should hear the whole album, Matt. It's awesome." Or whatever the vernacular was there, wicked cool, or whatever they said back in 1974. But I said, yeah, I like Jet. That's great. It's from his new album, Paul McCartney and Wings, Band on the Run. Great. About a week or so later, my mom and dad get me the album. Oh, did that blow me away hearing Band on the Run? Folks, it's just a memory. It's cemented. If hearing his stuff earlier from McCartney in 70 up to this point didn't do it for me, Band on the Run sure did. I became a lifelong Paul fan. I mean, I just was solo Paul all the way at that point. Number 8, a few years later, 1977. Now, I missed the Paul McCartney and Wings Over America tour because I was a little young at the time. At that time in 76, early 76, when the tickets went on sale, I was only 14. My dad did try to get tickets. He worked up in Boston, but it didn't work out. And I just, I didn't have the know-how or the skills, life skills then to know how to get tickets. So I missed that tour. But love the album. Maybe I'm Amazed. Live version makes number 10, smash hit. But in 1977, Paul comes out with a new single, some new music since the Wings Over the World tour and Over America. Here in the U.S., though, we didn't get the worldwide A-side of Mulligan Tire. That was the B-side. We got the A-side, Girls' School. Folks, I loved it. The song knocked me out. It impressed Paul, impressed me again. He had an impact on me because I was like, man, Paul's a rocking machine with this Girls' School. I was so impressed with that being new music from Paul. And I did like the flip side here in the U.S., Mulligan Tire. I thought that was a cool song. But Girls' School really knocked me out, folks. I thought, wow, Paul is rocking again. I wonder what the next album will be like. Here I was, 16 years old in 1977, and that song impressed me. Paul was a rocker, and I was sure of it on the next album. Now, he did have some rockers on the next album, London Town, but London Town's a bit of a mellower album than what I thought it was going to be based on hearing Girls' School, but I still love London Town. So that's number 8. Next one, number 7, Paul impresses me, was with the album after London Town. In 1979, June of 1979, I'm turning 18 that month, June of 79, he puts out Back to the Egg, or Wings did, and it hit me hard, folks. Now, I know it's not his most successful album. I think it only reached number 8 or something on the charts, one of his lowest charting albums up to that point. But for me, Matthew Street, I was very, very impressed with it. To this day, it's a fave. Back to the Egg. I can't wait for an archive edition of it. It was a life-changing album for me. I was going through so much as a young 18-year-old at that time. I was graduating high school in 79. I was just getting ready to enter the service. As you know, I served in the U.S. Armed Forces. I was going overseas for over 2 years, homesick, all that good stuff. And that album was one of the many that helped me. Back to the Egg was just one of those albums that has a big impression on me, big impact on me, and helped me through some tough times. So thank you to Paul for that. Number 6, the excitement of the Paul McCartney World Tour. 1989, 1990. I'm 28 years old. I saw 4 shows on that tour, the Paul McCartney World Tour. I saw it with family. My parents are now gone, but I saw it one of the shows with my parents, with my wife, with my brother, friends I saw that tour with, close friends, friends that are no longer here. That tour had such an impact on me, folks. The first show I ever saw, February of 1990 in Worcester, Mass, front row, right in front of Paul in the rising piano, the spinning piano for Fool on the Hill and all that. I had tears in my eyes during that tour, folks, and many of those 4 shows. First time of many times over the years subsequent seeing Paul, but those first 4 shows in that Paul McCartney World Tour, those are the memories that are the best memories. The first time, the first time you see them. And it was also the period of my life, the one and only time I met Paul McCartney and spent time with him chatting one-on-one, just me and him. July 25th, 1990, in between the 2 shows at Foxborough Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. I was working security. I'll try to show the picture if I can. Working security, I met Paul. You know the story. Go back and look for the video. Matthew Street meets Paul McCartney. It's a nice long video where I go through every detail. I encourage it. Thank you. But that was a big one, folks, that world tour. Oof, meeting Paul. It'll never happen again for me. Number 5, 1997. Matthew Street, me. I'm 36 years old. And Flaming Pie comes out. What an impact it had on me. He's coming off the anthology. He's coming out with his first new music since the anthology. And that album became an instant classic for me. It was the last one. May she rest in peace with Linda. He loved her so much. We loved her so much. And that album, just to this day, is one of my favorite Paul McCartney albums because of the impression it made on me and just the total impact of everything. He just put out wonderful music there. And like I said, the final one where Linda was having that influence on his life. Number 4, 10 years later, 2007. I'm 46 years old. And another album comes out that has a major impact on me. Memory Almost Full. So impressed with that album. So blown away by that album. Now, I love Chaos and Creation from 2 years earlier in 2005. Love it. But that one, this one, Memory Almost Full, for some reason, there's just more there for me. The voice is still there. He's still singing top of his game. The songcraft on Memory is just fabulous. I love it. And as a sidebar, I did see the 2005 Chaos Tour, and one of the best shows I've ever seen of Paul McCartney was in 2005. One of the best set lists, one of the best vocal performances by him. So 2005, that Chaos Tour and all that was fabulous. Loved it. But Memory Almost Full, I have to mention it, folks, because to this day, it is one of my favorite Paul McCartney albums, and I am so impressed with it. Number 3. Couple of years later, 2009, and I'll also include 2016 on here. It's seeing Paul McCartney at Fenway Park, both of those years, 2009. I'm 48 years old, and 2016, I'm 55 years old. So late 40s, mid 50s. But seeing Paul at Fenway Park with both of my sons together. Now, I've seen Paul a couple times separately with one of my sons here or there, but to see him with both of my boys, my only 2 children, 2009 and 16, the excitement of having them with me, the fun. Paul delivered both times, both shows at Fenway we saw him. My sons loved it. I remember giving high fives to each other when Live and Let Die happened with the fireworks and everything. We're high fiving. Oh, what a memory. In 2016, Rob Gronkowski, Gronk from the Patriots, comes out on stage for Helter Skelter, and Bob Ware was out there. He came out for Hi, 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 and he stayed out there, I think, also for Helter Skelter with Gronkowski. But what a memory with both my boys, folks. I have to mention that as number 3. Number 2, a few years after 2016, in December 2020, McCartney III gets released. I'm 59 years old. Well done, Paul. Well done. 78 years old. He came out with an album with, I know the voice isn't exactly the same, but the album gels, folks. It fits. Great songs. It's all Paul for the most part playing again on McCartney III. And for 78, he's singing pretty damn well, in my opinion. I love McCartney III. That album has had a great impression on me, and it leads me to hope for another album from Paul, which brings us to 2025. Number 1 impact Paul has had on me is this year, 2025. Why? Because he's coming out with a Wings book later this year. He did shows late last year with Ringo to finish up his big tour in December of 24. On stage with Ringo. Paul's looking good. He's playing well. He's sounding well. Big authorized biopics coming in a few years, one for each Beatle. Paul will get one of them. Venus and Mars just released. The Half-Speed Master 50th Anniversary Edition made the charts. We're hearing rumors of archive releases being restarted again. London Town, who knows? Back to the Egg. But the big thing is, folks, we are hearing rumors and rumblings of a brand new Paul McCartney album later this year, maybe early 26. Paul McCartney, 82 years old. Matthew Street, going to be 64 years old when I'm 64 in June coming. And he's on fire. The man with books coming out, just finished up a tour. There's talks of more shows coming later this year. As I said, the biopic films, Venus and Mars, new album, archive releases. What more can you ask for from this man? And folks, one picture I didn't show yet is I couldn't find a digital version of it, but the first time me and my two sons saw Paul together, here is a picture of it. I thought I'd show you that, okay? You got Matthew Street there in '09, when I'm 48 years old. I got my two boys with me wearing the Beatles shirts. I'm wearing my Paul shirt. Didn't get to show you that picture earlier because I don't have a digital image of it, but I thought you'd like to see it. So folks, that's it. I'm out of here. Has Paul McCartney impressed you during your life? I'm sure he has. Tell me about it in the comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe because it helps my channel, and I really appreciate it, and because I love you so much. So thank you. Thank you, Paul. Paul, you've impressed me in your solo career since 1970 to 2025, and I am looking forward to the future with Paul, baby. I am looking forward to it. Lots coming on the horizon. Yeah. What do you think? Ooh, yeah. As Macho Man would say when I just spit at you, but I'm sorry. I love you. Bye-bye.